Fan.
Get more points. Come on. Come on, boys. That's it. Watch the fiver. Soften it up. Sports.
This is Sports Sunday.
Jokic has it. Clock ticks. Gonna pull one up. Jokic for the win. It's good. Jokic got it off in time.
With Rashad Taylor and Joe Fisher.
First and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
On the Odyssey app.
Hate me or love me. You watched. That's all you could do.
And 1080.
Who do you think you are?
The Fan.
Good morning. Welcome into Sports Sunday right here on 1080 The Fan, the Odyssey app, 99.5 HD2, YouTube, and Twitch for the kids. I am Joe Fisher III across the faux marble table, fresh off of WrestleMania.
Oh,
brother.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rashad Taylor.
What up, though?
How we doing?
Oh, man. Feeling good, feeling great. How are you?
I'm great. I am tired, as usual. I am already looking forward to my mid-Sunday nap.
And I always forget that you guys come from so far away to get here.
I do
in
not.
comparison to me.
Jordan Schultz behind the glass. I mean, he now comes from Wilsonville, I believe, correct?
Yeah, I don't have a girlfriend in town, so I don't get to skip half that drive.
Yeah.
But, that would be the smart thing. Don't know if my wife would be okay with that, though, so might need to ask her. But I did.
You don't have a side piece, a side thing.
Hey, babe, it's only because I want to sleep close to work. That's the only reason.
That's a good reason.
It's not a bad reason.
might
But
work.
what else are you doing? Nothing. We're doing nothing else. No, but I admittedly slept through my alarm this morning. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sets up a level of panic that I don't think anybody needs to experience. That is something that obviously in our line of work, everybody's been probably late to work, slept through their alarm, but something about live broadcasts and when you're late to that,
Changes things.
yeah.
The rush is different for that.
It ramps up the intensity of the panic there.
There's a
for
deadline that you're fighting, and you have to be there.
Oh, for sure. So I remember.
Pepper needs new shorts.
I remember
because
one
I
time-
am crapping myself because we're about to have dead air for the first 15 minutes of the show.
So I remember one time when we were doing we used to do the Winco Foods Open out at, and I forget what course it was. Forgive me. It
I
was
believe Pumpkin Ridge,
Pumpkin
my
Ridge.
man.
Yeah. So it was out there. So it's deep, like Tualatin-ish. You know what I mean? A little
Hillsboro.
further. Hillsboro. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're right around that area, right?
North Plains-ish.
Yeah. So we're out there, and Lynch and I are talking to like the staff, and we're like, hey, we're here for the broadcast, and they're looking like, broadcast? Like, what do you mean? It's like it's not here today. And then we got a chance.
You guys
to talk
are on
to
the Golf
Swag.
Channel?
So we talked to Swag, and Swag is like, no, that was just for the weekday shows. Like we're in the studio today. It's show starts at 9. It's 8:45
Oh, boy.
at this point, mind you, and this is when we're over on Bancroft.
Yeah.
So you talk about hauling
You got to
ass.
fly down US 26.
Lynch and I were speed demons, hoping I wouldn't get pulled over.
Well, I know
I'm
Mike
pretty
Lynch.
sure Lynch wasn't.
I know Mike Lynch made it because he cooked in that Nissan Rogue.
Oh yeah. I definitely I made it too. We were like kind of trying to race each other to see who could get there first. But we walked in, and at the time Jesse Osmond, shout out to my guy Jesse, was
Sports
behind
Sunday.
the glass and like,
Welcome in.
what the F guys? Like where are you? Like what's going on? And so we walked in just as the opening theme was starting to play. And it's like, yeah. And Lynch was like, yeah, don't mention anything on air. Don't mention anything about us being late. And I was like, man, it'd be a cool story, but
Don't mention anything
I think it's
about
the first-
how we were not allowed to broadcast.
we
at
were not there.
Winco
Yeah.
Food
Thing is,
Opens.
we were so excited to do that again because we did it the year prior and was like, man, this is gonna be awesome.
Oh, so you guys were on air.
Yeah, we were on air the year prior.
That makes
and
a
so
lot
it was
more
like,
sense.
Okay, and so I just did the show with Souk the Friday prior to the show, and so I'm thinking like, just like last year, all the shows are going to be out here, and Lynch thought the same thing, and then got there and and had to make that long trek back to Bancroft. That was a tough one, and again, like you're absolutely right, Joe. That panic that we're not going to make it, there's
It's
going
not
to be
fun.
dead air for X amount of time, like that is not a cool feeling.
It is not ideal. But let's not bury the lead. How was Wrestling Mania?
Oh my gosh, man.
Is that the first one you ever been to?
That's the first WrestleMania I've ever been to. Now,
And in Vegas.
In Vegas. Like, so the cool part is the last time I went to an event, like a big pay-per-view event, it was in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium, which is awesome. Really nice stadium. But yeah, it was something to see. So I went to both nights.
Were you getting in wrestling matches outside of the stadium with random people?
No, I wasn't getting in wrestling matches with random people.
I know that's a
although
thing.
there were a lot of really aggressive, wrestling fans, especially after they had a few beers. And mind you, it's Vegas, so you can walk around with your open container
With
and
your
open
yardstick.
bottle, like you can do whatever you need to, right? And so there are tons of people that were pretty lubed up before they got into the event. I was one of those people. I'm talking about me on night one. The first night,
I've got 18 beers in me, brother. I can wrangle your
so
neck with these 24-inch pythons.
I snuck a little pint into the stadium.
Oh, a little plastic bottle.
Little plastic bottle, which worked out really, really well.
Yeah, some schnapps.
Didn't end up finishing it, which is awesome.
That
so
is.
yeah, it started awesome and it ended awesome. Like the energy, like the first night I remember being like, holy hell, son, we're here. Like, this is WrestleMania. This is awesome. Like,
Dad, don't touch me.
and he's
Get off
kind of
me.
like that, play it cool, man. Like,
You're embarrassing
and
me.
then by the second night, it was like, this is gonna be a long one. This is gonna be a long day. This is gonna be a long day. Because literally the event started at like noon. Like there's a whole like pre-show and activities outside, almost like a small like carnival type thing outside with all games and places to take pictures and all that jazz.
I saw that there. No, this was outside of a Raw on Netflix. But like, did they have a little dummy set up where you could hit it with a chair?
Logan Paul, yeah,
to
the
see
Logan
how
Paul.
hard you can hit it.
Yeah, there was like a whole WrestleMania like world, like so it was like a kind of like a WrestleCon type thing.
Ah,
And so it's pretty awesome, the whole thing. But by the second night, I remember I'm almost falling asleep like towards the middle of the event. Like, this is. I didn't drink that day, but I'm like, man, this is
Sleepy
this is
dad over
pretty-
here.
It's pretty long, and then all of a sudden I snapped out of it and got like right back into
yeah.
it.
Who was it that came out? Whose entrance music gave you that third wind or second wind rather?
Ooh, it was probably
About to fall asleep and then bam, this music goes off.
it was probably Stone Cold Steve Austin.
He showed up.
When Stone Cold's music hit and
The
that glass
broken
shattered,
glass?
when that glass shattered, man, that's when I forgot I was tired and hopped up and came out and told us how many people were in attendance. Here's the part that was
And that's all I gotta say about
They sent me
that.
3
Yeah.
pages of these horrible names.
I thought
Sorry, that was supposed to be Steve Austin, and it is not.
Sounds like
Sounds like
Cold.
Steve.
Sounds like Stone Cold. Who
Hold
knows?
on. I was
But
trying to get you the music though.
he came out and told us how many people were there. Here's
There we think. It's all right.
so
all right.
mind you, when that happened, the people go apex, like they lose it. Like people are going like, this one guy next to me starts crying. Like this older gentleman was like,
My lord.
crap, man. But it was Stone Cold.
Sorry.
So he comes out on this like this four-wheeler, right? So he comes
Still
out.
real to me, damn it.
So listen, he comes out on a four-wheeler like he typically does for WrestleMania because it's a super long walk and he's an older dude.
Like an ATV.
Like an ATV, right? So he comes around the corner and he rams right into the barricade. And I guess some lady was right there and took a tumble, right after
boy.
Stone Cold. So he
well,
hit her.
that's a lawsuit.
I think she's fine, but if you find it, you see how late the lady fell down and everything. But that was pretty cool. But here's the most impressive part of everything. So having been to like football games and stuff like that, obviously tons of people there. Walking back to the car with 64,000 people walking the same
dude.
way
Uh-oh.
I'm out.
was something like I've never seen before. And I was initially, it's one of those things you see it and like, nah, I'm not doing this. But then looking around, it's like, this is crazy, bro. Imagine everybody going to a game and everybody's there to see the exact same team. Nobody's there to see anybody else. Everybody came to see that one team. So everybody is in the same mind frame as far as we all love this thing, this one thing. So it was crazy. It was kind of fun, to see all those different people. It took forever to get back to the car, but man, like a sea of, because to get to Allegiant Stadium, there's like a bridge that you cross. It's right next to Mandalay Bay and next to like the Luxor and all those things. So
Did you go to the aquarium?
We almost did. We almost went to the aquarium. We didn't. I'm a big shark reef guy, so we almost went. We did. We did some other stuff.
I'm
though.
a big shark reef guy.
Yeah, shark. That's the aquarium.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you just meant like reefs, like in general,
Oh,
like
no.
in the ocean.
No, absolutely
sharks
not. The ocean.
I love shark
I'm
reefs.
Get
terrified
bit
of the
by
ocean.
sharks? Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm terrified of the ocean. You should probably know that.
Oh, I did not
Absolutely
know
terrified of the ocean.
Well, that sucks.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll do stuff there, but listen, it's the ocean, bro.
It's different territory.
Yeah.
So you know
You have a respectful fear.
You're in their world.
You've ever been on a cruise?
No. No.
Never. I want to go. Yeah.
So if you fall off a cruise ship, you can consider yourself dead.
Oh, yeah, because
yeah.
it takes them like a mile
You know how
to
long
turn
they
around
have to
or
turn,
something
turn
like that,
around
yeah.
and hopefully you don't get hypothermia or hope something else doesn't get you or hope you don't get got by the propellers on it. Like there's a million ways to die once you fall off. And then all the things that live in the ocean. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm good.
Yeah, I understand it. I
No, thank
understand
you.
it.
But overall, man, super cool trip. Had a lot of fun with my son. And
Just
I
you
ran
two?
yeah, just us. I ran into Jeff Teague and his podcast buddies.
Oh,
they
okay.
noticed my shirt and I was like, oh shoot, Jeff Teague, what's up, bro?
Let's go.
Said, man, big fan of your show.
What
and
was your
everything."
shirt?
I had a Harlem Heat shirt, Booker T and Stevie Ray, old school. So WCW, and then I'm standing there waiting to get a like a hot dog, like a Snoop Dogg. It's called Dirt Dog place. It's hot dogs that are phenomenal, right? So I'm standing in line and oh shoot, there's Ice Cube's son. He's standing next to me. Hey man, he has a wrestling podcast too. He's like, what's up, bro?
He's been in some movies now, and the fact that you still refer him to
His
as
name is
Ice,
O'Shea, but I'm
Ice
curious
Cube
if everybody
Ice
would
Cube's
know.
son.
His name is O'Shea, so I'm curious if
He
everybody
needs to
would
step
know
it
who
up
he was.
clearly.
Yeah, he has the
I
same
don't think
name
he
as
does.
Snoop.
He's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, he's
O'Shea Jackson
yeah,
Jr.
He's eating well
Yeah.
right now. So yeah,
Well, he's having a
good.
Snoop Dogg dog.
Yeah,
Being
he's-
like that guy and that thing is a good life.
That's a great life, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, to be Snap. I would love to be Snap
You're-
Finger Fingers.
You're him.
You're that guy.
You're the you know, yeah. I
He's-
would love to be that.
Yeah, I saw you in that one episode of SVU, right?
Yeah.
CSI Miami.
That's
actually.
the one.
That's
What's
it.
the same show?
Yeah,
Which is
yeah.
the same show. We're good.
Made me wonder with your whole cruise thing, falling off of a cruise. Do you think some captains they're like, Captain, someone fell off the boat. We need to turn this around, and he's gonna like, it's gonna take a lot of time.
It's gonna throw us off
Aren't
of
they
our track.
legally required to turn around and alert the Coast Guard?
Oh, something's jammed with this wheel here. Onward we go.
Seriously, like you have to be able to tread water for looking at 10 minutes. You know,
That's
it's
the
gonna
most
take a long
nightmare
time.
scenario, being
I
just
think so.
stuck in the middle of the ocean.
I
Yeah,
think
you're like
so.
Jack and Rose essentially.
Space.
Yeah.
You don't have a door
maybe?
to float on.
Space,
Yeah.
just accidentally letting go
Yeah,
of the
like-
the ship out in space and just
Yeah, like I think space
floating.
Or,
That would be I
Oh,
would
yeah,
probably just lift up my mask at that point and just be like, just take me.
yeah.
You
Could
know?
you imagine
Right.
being on like a skiff in the middle of the ocean and be like, all right, man, like
See, I feel like
take my chances.
yeah, that I think the space scenario that is much worse because the ocean you would still have some sort of hope that someone, maybe a boat somewhere comes and finds you, but it's almost like being lost in space. I mean, it's
It's like no one that like is really scream and no one's gonna hear you.
Have you
for miles?
the
have
sharks
you-
are gonna hear you and they're like, oh, there he is.
No kidding. Have you seen the people that have been recovered from like shipwrecks or like actual castaways? They look awful. I
They
mean,
look
from
beaten to hell.
well, yeah, just
But that's the thing. They've been rescued.
they are alive, but they still look like a leather burlap sack and like they haven't
Oh,
eaten
seriously.
in 2 months.
Man,
I could use that right now.
You know, you've been in the
I
bathtub.
could use a tan and to shed 40 pounds.
Yeah, you've been in the bathtub or the shower for too long, and or the pool, and your skin starts to kind of shrivel up. Imagine being stuck in water for 3 days. You know, I saw this ship that was wrecked, and they found somebody in there, and they found like a little corner.
Oh,
Oh,
I've seen this
yeah.
video.
You've seen it? Yeah,
Little
and
air
just
pocket.
little air pocket right there that they were able to breathe. Can you imagine how terrible that would be? You can't fall asleep. You can't fall asleep. You're up.
That's
for,
the biggest concern.
Absolutely. The minute you fall asleep, it's a wrap. The
Well-
minute you
Oh my
faint,
God.
the minute anything like that, you die of whatever.
Drowning.
Yeah, drown. That's what's
I
gonna
think that's
happen.
what would happen.
Yeah,
the
that's
minute
just-
you
Ugh.
lose consciousness even a little bit, you're dead. It's a wrap.
Yeah, how about text line here chimes in 503-864-6326. What's the most nightmare scenario to get stuck in? Is it in the middle of the ocean on a little dinghy, a little raft? I think the space on Earth. Let's limit it to on Earth. I think getting lost in the Amazon, that would be a nightmare scenario because
Oh.
every step
Yeah.
is a potential last
Yeah.
step. That's a
A
tough one.
bug
right
will
there.
kill you
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of my favorite like fall sleep shows on Netflix is 72 Most Dangerous Animals.
Ooh.
And like you said, Rashad, going into the ocean, you would be hard pressed to find me walking into any ocean in Southeast Asia.
No.
It's box jellyfish. No, thank you.
Southeast Asia might be the scariest place ever.
The waters, at least.
The water, and
that's
then,
what I've come
you
to
know,
learn.
I think about tigers and whatnot. Like, man, and if you've ever seen a tiger in comparison to a lion, it dwarfs a lion.
Yeah,
Like,
they say the lion's the king of the jungle. Mm-mm.
No,
No.
that's
That's
because
a
the
tiger.
tigers don't live there,
Yeah.
and that's why he's the king.
No, it's a dangerous game out there. Also, I did post a poll question though that is sports related. That we'll get to later in the show. Don't want to get into it right now, so just hold your horses, okay? Don't be giving me takes or anything like that. But I wanted to know if you have a need for both positions in the draft, what is more important to your team? A number one wide receiver or a do-it-all tight end? I want you to think about it because we're going to talk about it probably at the end of the hour. Next, we're going to talk about, of course, the NFL draft that just wrapped up yesterday. Talk about what teams got some good players, and of course, the biggest story of all, Mel Kiper having a coronary because of Shedeur Sanders falling to the 5th round. And at 9:30, we're gonna have Andrew Nemec on, draft bro,
Nice.
recruiting bro. I love Andrew Nemec because I texted him on draft day, and I was looking at our most recent text. It was last year on the draft. That was the last time I texted.
Fantastic.
It's like, well, keeping it consistent. And then hour number 2, we're going to get into some NBA playoff stuff. But let's get to going on NFL draft recap. Which teams got the biggest moves, biggest players, and of course, Shedeur Sanders falls all the way to the 5th round. My God. We get to that next. NFL draft, Sports Sunday.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax relief advocates
Sports Sunday with Rashad and Joe on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
NFL draft wrapped up yesterday. All 7 rounds. It was an interesting draft in the sense of just the amount of sure things, like basically picks 1 through 3 were like, yeah, these guys have to go early because Tennessee has a quarterback need. Cam Ward, best quarterback. Travis Hunter, the type of versatility he has, of course he's going to go higher. Of course, the biggest move of the first round is that once Cam Ward went first, is the Jags making the jump into the 2nd overall selection, trading their first-round pick, I believe second-round pick, and their first-round pick next year, as well as I think like a 5th-rounder to the Browns, and they get Travis Hunter at number 2. Abdul Carter going to the Giants at number 3. So those were kind of like the 3, okay, those are going to be the top 3 players. I don't think anybody foresaw what the Jags were going to do. That was the surprise part of it. But outside of that, probably best pick, definitely Tyler Booker for the Dallas Cowboys, guard, number 12 overall.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a huge pickup.
I'm not gonna lie, and this is kind of where my my poll question that I put up on 1080 The Fan stemmed from. And the Cowboys do have a number 1 wide receiver, but I really wanted them to take Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State.
Yeah,
he's really good,
and he was available. He was available at 12. I thought once the Bears took Colston Loveland, the tight end out of Michigan, at 10th overall, I was like, ooh, Tyler Warren, he's going to be available. The 49ers don't need him at 11, so he's going to be available. I'm not kidding you. They say the draft pick, and they go, the Dallas Cowboys select Tyler, and I fist pump in there, and I'm like, yes, Booker. I'm like, who the hell?
What?
What? Literally, I wish I would have had someone recording my face because I went from just elation to like, huh?
Classic Cowboy
the
draft.
Hell?
Classic Cowboy draft face.
Also, as much as all my hope was lost over the last year with my Cowboys, listening to Tyler Booker talk, I'm right back in it, baby.
Good.
Dude's an animal. Dude's a psychopath. I don't know if you heard his.
I think you'll need that as an offensive lineman.
We are gonna have to find the audio of him talking to Micah Parsons, but he had one of the coldest lines, like in quotes, from a draftee that I feel like I've ever heard. So if we can find it, then I would love to pull that audio because it's one of those where we're like, oh my god, this guy is a certified psycho. And I love that as for an offensive lineman.
I think as an offensive lineman, you can be one of 2 ways. You're cool and calm, collected,
and
right?
just a gentle giant,
or you're a complete
dog.
Yeah, weirdo. Like it's
dog.
One of 2. And that's where I don't need you anywhere in between. I need you to be one of those 2 because I do need somebody on the line to wrangle everybody back in. All right, guys, let's chill out. We took Will Campbell, with the 4th pick overall for the Patriots, which again,
T-Rex arm Will Campbell.
I mean, he's good. At least he's good. I don't care how short your arms are. If you can,
top-rated lineman in the draft.
If you can block, then I guess But it's hard to be. I'm glad you were able to feel like some type of emotion because for me, it's hard to be excited about getting a lineman, getting somebody whose name probably won't be in the box score too much. So.
Tyler Booker will be in there for pancakes, baby.
Fingers crossed.
Get him a lot of pancakes.
Fingers crossed.
Number 6. Will Campbell, number 4 to Rashad's Patriots. Mason Graham, top-rated D tackle in the draft. Probably another sure thing as far as players that are available going to Cleveland at 5 after they traded down. Ashton Jeanty, which the couple weeks leading up to the draft, like when the NFL season ended and the first mock drafts were coming out, I was like, Cowboys might have a chance there. Yeah, Jeanty dropping to 12. Okay, yeah, it was very much in the cards. And then as time went on and we got closer and closer to the draft, I'm like,
he's going to be the first.
He's not getting out of
off the board.
Yeah, he's not getting out of the top 10.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he goes to the Oakland Raiders at 6.
Love that pick.
It's a good pick for the Raiders.
Yeah,
it's a good pickup for the Raiders. Pete Carroll's going to enjoy that one.
Yep, and talking about like certified psychos on the offensive line. Last week we brought up the Players Tribune article that Ashton Jeanty did, and where he said, the game's called tackle football. I draft the guy that they can't tackle. I was like, that's cold.
That's a hard line. That's a hard line.
What is it? The Carolina Panthers get hopefully their future number 1 wide receiver, Tetaroa McMillan, which that was someone who I saw mocked to the Cowboys a couple times, and he's one of those where he could be just a phenomenal wide receiver for the Panthers based off of pure skill and talent. Right. But as I was saying to Andrew Nemec when I was texting him about McMillan is I feel like his given F factor is pretty low. And that
when you're 6'4", it typically kind of is. Like,
yeah, like I have natural skills and ability just from my physical features that I can get away with a lot. But what Andrew said is that like because with those physical attributes, he doesn't use them as much as he probably should. So I'm intrigued to see what happens in Tetaroa McMillan's career because the dude's really, really good. It's just a matter of is he going to be ready for the NFL lifestyle,
well,
the tougher competition, the pros, the grown-ass men going at him on the other side of the ball, and being able to just get better and willing to work to get better.
Getting better is going to be hard because he plays for the Panthers now. And so, I mean, that's if we're just being honest with each other, getting better is going to be tough right now. If you still got a quarterback position to really figure out, but there's a lot of things to put in place there in Carolina. So you're hoping for the best. But when you got a 6'4" receiver, like red zone all day, hey, man, against smaller DBs, smaller safeties, just throw it up. Let's figure it out from there.
Also, coming from Arizona, I feel like he is kind of slipping right back into a similar scheme, at least. It was a short quarterback and Noah Fafita at Arizona throwing him the ball. It's going to be a similar, Bryce Young, 6 foot maybe quarterback throwing him the ball in Carolina. I bet that was a big factor in them taking him. It's like, oh, okay, he's used to a short guy throwing him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, big factor in taking him is that I think their number 1 receiver last year was Adam Thielen. So
yeah, that's also true.
Who made some nice plays for them, but
they got a draft pick last year as well, though.
Well, they had Xavier Leggett. Yeah. So
Jelly, called Jelly. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, love Xavier Leggett, but they need a bona fide star number 1 receiver, and hopefully for them that is McMillan. Number 14, that's where Tyler Warren went to the Indianapolis Colts, tight end from Penn State. Just going down this first round, Gray Zabel, the Seattle Seahawks draft. Gray Zabel.
Did you see Brock
out of
Hayward's
North Dakota State?
Live?
I did not. No.
It's 7-10 up in Seattle. He jumped up and almost strained his neck, screaming so loud when he found out the Seahawks were drafting. Yeah, pretty much a much needed offensive lineman. The fans were clamoring for somebody to protect Sam Darnold, and they got them.
Well, the nice thing about Gray Zabel is he has played multiple positions on the offensive line. He has done, I think he's played damn near every position on the offensive line outside of center.
Actually, no, he played center in the Senior Bowl, so he showed not maybe necessarily at North Dakota State, but I don't know, there's kind of some whispers about, well, he did it against inferior competition, but in the Senior Bowl, he played both guard and center and showed that he could do it against the big boys, which I think kept him in the first 20 picks.
And, usually when there's a North Dakota State guy getting drafted first round, it's for a good reason.
No, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
If you come from any smaller D1, then you get taken in the first round, especially the first round. Yeah, we expect you to do some work.
Oh, who was that other dude in North Dakota State that got drafted in the first? Trey Lance. That's right.
Trey Lance.
That was worth it. Maybe I should throw in the qualifier. North Dakota State offensive lineman.
Yeah, I mean, Trey Lance is probably the exception, of all those guys. But
Carson Wentz also. I mean, he started off all right.
Carson Wentz, and then did he not win the MVP or got close to winning MVP?
No,
but
he got
hurt.
close and then got hurt. Yeah.
But got a Super Bowl ring, but not because of him.
It wasn't him, but they weren't there unless Carson Wentz had the season he had at that point.
He led them to the playoffs because they were playing so well, and then Nick Foles just finished out the job.
Yeah.
All right. Also, just looking at this first round, the first Oregon Duck off of the board, Derek Harmon going to Pittsburgh.
Shocking pick.
Pittsburgh and D tackles and defensive line. I feel like that is one of their positional groups or fortes as far as just always having dogs. I'm thinking of the Brett Kiesels, obviously the Cam Haywards of the world. That is a great landing spot for Derek Harmon. Also taking a look, the second quarterback off the board though was not Deion Sanderson Shador. It was Jackson Dart going to the Giants at 25. They get their presumably backup because you got Russell Wilson, you got Jameis Winston there. So Jackson Dart either going to be win out the backup job over Jameis or over Russell. Quarterback competition, perhaps, between all three.
Yeah, I think Russell's going to start the season,
Yeah.
but Jackson Dart is probably the fans are going to be clamoring for him after 6 games. Don't let Russ go 3-3 or 2-4, to start the season. They're going to be begging for Jackson Dart to come in.
Did you see the report out of Giants camp about Shador's meeting a one-on-one with Coach Brian Daboll and why it caused him to not be taken at that 25th pick?
I did see. I read that they were supposed to go over some schemes or something like that.
He installed the new package, I think.
Yeah, and then Shador didn't know it, and then he called him out for not being prepared, and Shador didn't like that he called him out for not being prepared, and
Daboll did not like that he didn't like being called out, so it didn't really work out very well in New York. And that I'm assuming we're going to hear some stuff leaking. I know we're going to get to the Shador stuff, but it's just. I think that was the point in the draft where you realized, Shador is going to drop significantly, and I wouldn't be surprised if we heard for some other teams that meetings went just like they did in New York.
And to wrap things up with this first round, 2 Oregon Duck players going in the first round. The second one being Josh Connerly going to the Washington Commanders at 29.
Look at the O-line for Oregon. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury really loved Josh Connerly. He apparently left a sticky note on the GM's desk that just said, draft the tackle out of Oregon. And obviously they did. So they really were in on Connerly.
All right. Let's take a break. Let's get Andrew Nemec in here. I want his analysis on this draft, who he thinks are the winners of the entire draft. What are the best fits? Get his feelings on the Shador Sanders situation. And, let's get Nemec in here. Let's do that. All right. We have Andrew Nemec on here doing some draft analysis. But first, Jordan Schultz with the Sports Center update.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, it was a record-setting NFL draft for the Oregon Ducks. 10 players taken overall, setting a program record. And a very busy day 3 for your Duckies as well. Running back Jordan James going in the 5th round of the San Francisco 49ers. Jeff Bossa also in the 5th round of the Chiefs. Johnny Cornelius going to the Cowboys in round 6. And Tez Johnson, the lightest player at the NFL Combine, going in round 7 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On to the NBA, a very busy day of Game 4s on the schedule. In about half an hour, you got the Pistons hosting the Knicks on ABC. They are a 2.5-point favorite, even though they are down 2-1 in the series, but they're the home team. Lakers going to Minnesota to take on the T-Wolves. Minnesota, a 2.5-point favorite. 12:30 tip also scheduled for ABC. You can also catch those games over on 910 ESPN Portland. 4 p.m. today, TNT. The Orlando Magic hosting the Celtics. Also a 2-1 series with Boston leading there. Boston on the road, a 7.5-point favorite. And the Bucks hosting the Pacers, also down 2-1 at 6:30 tonight. Looks like Milwaukee, as the home team, a 4.5-point favorite. And in baseball, the Seattle Mariners beating the Miami Marlins up yesterday, 14-0, 6 runs in the first inning, onto an absolute slaughter. And today, Logan Evans making his Major League debut for the Mariners, v. Max Meyer on the Buck. First pitch set for 1:10 p.m. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schultze at the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The inside story on the Blazers, Ducks, and Beavers. Danny and Dusty. Weekdays noon to 3 on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Swag here, and the spring weather has me needing to get my golf game in shape for the new season, which is why I'm so glad to call Forest Hills Golf Course in Cornelius my
You're listening to Sports Sunday with Rashad Taylor and Joe Fisher on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Sports Sunday, getting into NFL draft stuff as it wrapped up yesterday. And, of course, it's only right that now that the draft is finished, we got the draft expert on the phone, Andrew Nemec. You can listen to him here on 1080 The Fan, the Andrew Nemec show, recruiting show. But the dude is absolutely plugged in the draft game. I can tell because he just texts me right after the Cowboys' second-round pick, giving me the full breakdown on their pick. I didn't even ask for it, and he gave me the full breakdown on it. Absolutely loved it, Andrew. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course, yeah. I always, I know you always text me about the Cowboy stuff, so I thought I'd just cut to the chase and give you a little bit of a breakdown.
Oh, loved it.
Good
Loved
job.
it. Yes, I know. That's my guy. That's my guy right there. Well, let's get right into it, Andrew. I mean, the big story, and it's overshadowing everything that happened in this draft, but is the slide of Shedeur Sanders. There's so much back and forth about, is it a matter of skill? Obviously, the Dion factor comes into play here. Were you surprised by this big of a slide at all? When it comes to the overall skill set, do you think he ever even warranted a first-round draft pick choice? I want to know the full Andrew Nemec breakdown on the Shedeur Sanders situation.
Sure. So it's really interesting because I always try to grade the quarterbacks every year before things really get rolling and everyone has takes. And I had a third-round grade on Shedeur. And my personality comp was not anybody who's a bad character. It was somebody who's entitled and turned his teammates off, and that was Josh Rosen. So a third-round quarterback who had some Josh Rosen vibes in terms of personality is a little bit alarming. My comp for him was a less athletic Brock Purdy. He doesn't have the biggest arm. He's small. He's not a good runner at all. And that's not to say he's not accurate, but he's kind of a smaller, accurate quarterback. And when you see Sanders on the back of his jersey, you assume he's this like big-armed, incredible athlete, and he just wasn't. My comp as an unathletic Brock Purdy, I also kind of had a split there where I said he's also kind of like Kirk Cousins coming back from the Achilles. And in terms of his athleticism and the way he can throw the ball, he doesn't have that zip behind it. And that sounds harsh, but I listened to a podcast with Robert Mays and Dane Brugler on The Athletic. Their comps were, and I couldn't believe it because I thought I was hyper-specific, were old Kirk Cousins or unathletic Brock Purdy. So I wasn't the only one to go there. Further, just listening to and reading so much about the draft, he really handled the process poorly in the moment, and people knew that. I'm really into the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl. I try to watch those games. I listen to podcasts about the reports of how each day went. I read reports of how each day went. Players opt out after they have a good first or second day, and they'll say, I tweaked a hamstring. And we all kind of know, okay, they dominated day one, day two, proved what they needed to do, and don't want to risk actual injury, so they opt out. And that's kind of part of the game. But if you accept an invite, you are supposed to participate. You're supposed to participate in at least a day or two of practice. It's actually against the rules to accept the invite with no attempt whatsoever to hit the field. Shedeur turned down the Senior Bowl, went to the Shrine Bowl, which is considered the lesser game because it was close to home, and he showed up and he big-timed the event. He got there and they were ready for him to participate, and he said, oh, no, I'm just here to hang out. And again, it's against the rules. So he kind of big-timed the event and the draft process throughout. He didn't throw at the combine. He was alphabetically next to Tyler Shuck, who has a big arm, and it sounds like his people thought it would look bad for him to throw noodle arm, a little bit of a noodle arm throw compared to Shuck's cannon, and so he opted out. So he handled the process bad, and let's face it, he had kind of a third-round grade.
I mean, yeah, I think that's that's fair for a lot of people that, like you said, didn't really see Shedeur as uber athletic or that much of a leader. There were a lot of questions about leadership for him coming into the draft. So I don't think that surprised a lot of people, but I still think there's a bunch of them that were kind of surprised that he fell as as far as he did. But of the quarterbacks that did go in the first round, Nimick, between Cam Ward and Jackson Dart, man, immediately, just as a rookie, who do you see having a bigger impact on their teams right now? Both teams are teams that are been kind of struggling, as of late or as of the last decade or so. So who do you expect to have a bigger impact on their team to start?
Well, Cam Ward's going to be the guy from day one, whereas the Giants can really ease in Jackson Dart. And look, Cam Ward is quite a bit further along than any other quarterback in this class, and really actually warranted a top 10 pick in most drafts. Last year, you look at the quarterbacks that went early, and I had him roughly kind of in that tier with Michael Penix, where he would have been a top 4 or 5 quarterback in last year's class. That doesn't sound amazing, but you go back and look at last year's group with Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels. Those three all look like they've at least flashed the potential to be very good. Caleb Williams obviously hasn't lived up to the hype yet, but was almost seen as a generational quarterback prospect, a surefire guy. So to say he's in that tier with Penix means he's pretty ready to hit the ground running. He makes some mistakes, but the mistakes he makes are trying to do too much. He's not getting tricked in terms of coverage. When he throws a ball in and you go, oh, no, Cam, what are you doing? He's trying to make a play. It's not that he just I didn't see the coverage. I didn't know what was happening. You put on the tape with Jackson Dart, and it's a little bit different. He's more of a project. One, he comes from a Lane Kiffin offense, which is very similar to Tennessee's offense in that it's very watered down. It's really smart. It's really good stuff in college, but it really makes things easy for quarterbacks. It's paint by numbers for him. Jackson Dart's going to have to learn to run an NFL offense, and the big knock on him is he doesn't always read coverages. When he throws a bad ball, it's not because he's forcing something in there. Sometimes it's because he's not seeing what he should be seeing. And that's okay. That's pretty normal for young quarterbacks. He's got more of a learning curve. Cam Ward's ready-made. He's got to tone down some of the gunslinger mentality, but Cam Ward has a chance to be a very good quarterback pretty early in his career, to be honest.
Yeah, the Jackson Dart, I still have the images seared in my head of the end of that Florida game where he seemingly threw a billion interceptions, and a few of them got called back because of penalties and stuff, but he just, like you're saying, reading the field and, being able to see those things, that's kind of my concern with him there. As far as teams that did do something right, what was your favorite first round draft pick where a team absolutely nailed it, and which team overall you think just had the best draft to you, if not a couple teams?
Well, I just think what the Browns did overall is absolutely phenomenal. They're not going anywhere this year. They've got a ton of dead money in Deshaun Watson's contract. They need a quarterback. They take a couple of late-round, inexpensive swings. Instead of going and getting the guy that's going to try to play both ways, and you've got to deal with that, figure all that out, they trade down. They get a very good interior defensive line piece in Mason Graham and pick up what could be a top 10 pick next year in a first-round pick. If you'd have looked at the Browns draft at before the draft started and said they got Shedeur Sanders, Mason Graham, Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Gabriel late, everybody go, wait, what? How'd they pull this off? And then if you throw in, oh yeah, and they got a first-round pick, you'd be pretty happy. I also love what the Seahawks did. To be honest, they've been, their GM Schneider has been really kind of hesitant to invest heavily in interior offensive linemen. They go and get Gray Zabel, who can help them out, I believe, at left guard right away. But long-term, he could be a big-time center for you. He could play right guard. Any of those three interior spots, he's really good. Nick Emanwari was potentially a top 20, top 25 pick. He's that big-bodied kind of Cam Chancellor safety that works really well in a Mike McDaniel offense. They really wanted to have that piece. They trade up to get him. They get Jalen Milroe, just an uber-athletic quarterback. He doesn't have to play right away. In fact, he won't play right away. He's going to sit behind Sam Darnold. But if you develop him, he's got the best tools, really, of anybody in this class. He's an unbelievable runner. He's got a big arm. That's exciting. And then everybody knows Damian Martinez here in the Pacific Northwest. That's a nice little seventh-rounder that has a chance to be an impact back, rotational back in there with Walker or Charbonnet, especially if either one of them get banged up.
Yeah, and just to reference the Miami guys again, them taking Elijah Arroyo at number in the second round. I remember seeing a couple Miami games and him playing out there, and I'm like, dude, that guy, he could be really good on Sundays. He didn't have like a huge year in Miami, but he definitely had those pro-like qualities.
Wait, you mean to tell me that a Mario Cristobal college offense didn't necessarily showcase the pass-catching weapons?
I know.
He had?
Believe it?
Shocking.
I'm completely stunned. You're right, though. Elijah Arroyo, in a different college offense, probably would have been an All-American if he stays healthy all the way through the year. And that's really the question with him. He's been in and out of the lineup with some injuries. But Elijah Arroyo, from an athlete standpoint,
Yeah.
he's a first-round athlete at tight end, and that's what you keep coming back to with the Seahawks draft. It's like Nick Emanwari, great athlete. Gray Zabel, versatile interior athlete. Jalen Milroe, incredible athlete. You hit that box and you check that box over and over, and in a draft that doesn't have a ton of high-ceiling guys, we talked about that a lot this week, and everybody talked about that this week, that there aren't a lot of true blue chippers. They took some big swings, and worst case, they got faster and more athletic, and honestly, if two of their first 5 picks hit, they could hit at a Pro Bowl level, which is really exciting.
I know the one story that's really dominated this entire draft is Shedeur Sanders and him falling all the way to the 5th round. Mel Kiper seemed to have had like the weirdest fetish for Shedeur Sanders. I like him. I really do like Shedeur, and I think it's a crime he fell to the 5th round. But what was Mel Kiper seeing that maybe the rest of us aren't? Or
Money?
I kind of feel bad for Mel Kiper in a way. I think what he's done for the draft in his career is unimpeachable. He has unequivocally raised the dialogue around the NFL draft and deserves tremendous credit for that. I know Dan Patrick has talked about a push to put him in the Pro Football Hall of Fame as a broadcaster, and I actually support that.
I'd vote for him.
He is the face and the hair of the NFL draft for 2 decades. He went out on a big limb with Jimmy Clausen, and that quote is very famous about how great Jimmy Clausen would be. And after that, he spent about 10 years. And if you listen to him, he rode the fence on quarterbacks forever. And Todd McShay and him were kind of partners on ESPN, and they would have back and forth about quarterbacks. McShay's talked about it in the last year, that one of his big gripes was that Mel would ride the fence with quarterbacks. So Todd McShay would come out and say, I love this kid. And Kiper would be very down the middle. Didn't want to offend anybody, didn't want to upset anybody. He had rankings, but everybody had a chance to be a Pro Bowler and everybody had a chance to be a bust. He wouldn't go anywhere. And I think he heard that. And I think he's been pushed aside a little bit in his career as he's gotten older. And I think he picked a guy to go out on a limb with. And I think it made for ratings. And so he doubled down and tripled down and quadrupled down. And that was his choice. I think he had Shedeur as his number 1 quarterback. And to be honest, listen, we're wrong about this stuff all the time. Everybody is. I liked Bryce Young more than C.J. Stroud. We all get it wrong sometimes. But it's really hard watching tape to put Shedeur Sanders ahead of Cam Ward. It's really hard to do that. They're in a different tier. They're in a different stratosphere. And maybe Shedeur works out, and maybe Cam Ward ends up being a bust. And maybe we all look silly, and the whole league looks silly. But from an evaluation standpoint, if you go arm strength, athleticism, ability to read a field, Cam Ward is really far ahead of Shedeur. And I think, to me, and I like to go back and do this, I will go back and read everybody's rankings from this summer. I'll read them from this fall. And guys who have Shedeur 1 with a bullet ahead of Cam Ward, I'm going to question their evaluations going forward. Because, again, it's not close. You're kind of picking a narrative.
Well, Andrew, I would say, can you stick around? But I just looked at the clock, and it's already 9:53. So we basically did have you stick around for the second segment. Appreciate you coming on early Sunday morning, man, and giving us all the draft stuff. Always appreciate your knowledge on this. You're so plugged in. And, again, appreciate the Dallas Cowboys text draft pick analysis because, quite frankly, never heard of that dude out of Boston College that you texted me about. And you got me sold on him. And I saw somewhere else that was an A+ pick for them. So definitely sold on it now.
Yeah, it's a great pick. And then, of course, R.J. Harvey to Denver. In your fantasy drafts, I don't know if you guys ever talk fantasy. He's a guy worth picking up. He is electric. Had the second most 10-yard or more rushes in the country last year behind Ashton Genty. Denver and Sean Payton's offense do a great job with running backs. He is a guy to absolutely target late in your fantasy drafts. He has a chance to be a league winner.
And that's why you listen to Andrew Nemec, because he's plugged in on UCF running backs, baby. That's what we love to hear. Andrew, thanks. Appreciate you coming on this Sunday morning, as always, man. You go back to sleep now.
All right, bye.
Andrew Nemec, you can listen to him here on 1080 The Fan, the recruiting show with Andrew Nemec. Dude's just plugged in. It's crazy. I'm sure a lot of these guys in the draft, or at least, some of them, he talked to at the high school level and got to know them there, and then he sees them go on. So as far as his evaluating talent, it's like these are some guys that he has been keeping an eye on since high school and knows their game very well. So always love having him on and talking about this stuff. Let's take a break because we are way over. Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV?
Rashad and Joe on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
All right. Rashad, I'm glad that you asked Andrew Nemec about the Mel Kiper stuff and Jordan.
Well, shout out to Jordan Schultz.
Yeah, Jordan giving us in our ear, hey, ask about Mel Kiper, because that is one of the things.
That's a good question. Yeah,
that I just. And yeah, Andrew explained it a little bit more about kind of the history of Mel Kiper and, hanging your hat on someone. And it's funny he brought up the Jimmy Clausen thing, because I remember that as well. Mel Kiper literally said that he would retire if Jimmy Clausen didn't turn into like an all-pro or a Pro Bowl quarterback or something like that.
I do hate when people play with words like that. I know what you're trying to say. You didn't obviously mean that you were going to retire. So don't effing say it. Say that I would nearly bet my career on this.
It's like saying I'll eat my hat. I know I'm not going to actually eat my hat.
Don't say it. Like, God, people, it's like Charles Barkley. He throws whatever out there. It's funny, and then people forget about it a month later. But to defend Mel Kiper really quickly, he did have Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, as he was being drafted by the Chiefs, he was like, dude, underrated, possible multi-year Pro Bowler.
Love the way he spins it.
I don't remember him going so much, like, I know he was sitting on the fence for a lot of guys, but I don't remember him so much going on the negative side for Patrick Mahomes. So credit to Mel Kiper, he has gotten it right too.
No, yeah, he's gotten it right a lot of times. And I think it's easy to look at the failures and say, yep, we knew it. You knew you weren't that good. We knew you didn't have it. You couldn't pontificate that. Like, it's one of those things, man. But again, it's a gamble. This is all a gamble. Like, how many times have the Blazers been burned by taking somebody that you thought it would, work out like that? Or your team. How many times have the Cowboys, the Patriots taken somebody and it's like, why did you do that? And then they end up working out. There's that amazing clip, and we all see it, is the Bills drafting Josh Allen. And the fans going like, oh my God, are you serious? Why? Who was this guy? I remember drafting Damian Lillard. and being like, why the F did we just draft him? Who the hell is this guy? Oh, he didn't miss a shot in his workouts. Who cares? It's open shots. Why are we drafting this guy? A year later, oh, okay. Rookie of the year? Oh, okay. That's why we drafted him.
Just on the Lillard thing, it's like one of those where when that happened, I was like, well, hey, if he's from Weber State and getting drafted 6 overall, there must be something pretty damn good about it.
I wish I had your rosy outlook because I didn't see it like that at that point. I looked at that and was like, because I was a big fan of the guy, the big name, right, coming out of college at that point, who was Harrison Barnes, who was killing in college. It was like, that's who we need on our team. And Harrison Barnes has had a great NBA career, right? He's an NBA champion. He's had a great career. Now I know damn Damian Lillard. And sometimes that's how it is. Somebody thought Josh Rosen was going to be a better quarterback than the guy they tried to make a receiver in Lamar Jackson, who's a 2-time MVP now, probably should have been 3-time MVP at this point. So we all get it wrong. And if we need more examples, the biggest one probably ever, Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. Who knew, right? And so Russell Wilson, how many guys were taken in front of Russell Wilson, that year? Who knew? So we don't know, and Mel Kiper is just better at most of us than knowing what it is.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know who it was at Bleacher Report. It could have been Matt Miller, who's now an ESPN guy. But someone recently pulled up the draft that Russell Wilson was a part of, 2012. Yeah. And he went absolutely scorched earth on that Seahawks draft, saying it was one of the worst drafts of all time. Terrible picks from rounds 1, 2, and 4 where Russell Wilson went. I think Russell was either 3 or 4. I forget.
Round 3.
Russell was round 3, 75th pick.
Do you want to know the other 2 draft picks from that draft of the Seahawks?
Lay it on us.
Bruce Irvin and Bobby Wagner.
Oh, no.
Oh,
and then Russell Wilson.
And then Russell Wilson. Get out of here.
Bad picks, you guys.
Get out of here.
Damn.
I will say, and I want you guys to think about this. We can come back and start the second hour. If there was a player or 2 players that you remember yourself that you're like, dude, that guy's going to be a stud, and then ended up doing absolutely, because there's 2 that come to mind for me that we can talk about, but I want you guys to think. Also on the text line, if you want to share, 503-864-6326. If there was someone that got drafted in years past that you're like, oh, that dude is going to just be an absolute animal.
Absolutely.
And then turned out to be the exact opposite. Would love to hear that. We start hour number 2. We'll do that. We got NBA playoffs to talk about. So much more left here on Sports Sunday, right here on 1080 The Fan.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are 2 very important
the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. A Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, a record-setting day at the NFL Draft, or actually record-setting 3 days for the Oregon Ducks. Day 3 filled with some picks, but 10 overall Duckies being taken in the draft that sets a program record for the most players ever to be drafted. Going on day 3, starting off in the 5th round, Jeffrey Bassa and Jordan James. Bassa going to the Chiefs after James taken by the 49ers. Also, Ajani Cornelius, offensive tackle, going in round 6 to the Dallas Cowboys. Tez Johnson, the lightest player at the Combine, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as a 7th-round pick. In the NBA, a lot of Game 4s on the slate today. Actually, in just a couple of minutes, the Pistons down 2-1 to the Knicks will get going as a 2.5-point favorite on ABC, as well as 9:10 ESPN Portland. Later on this afternoon, 12:30 tip on ABC, the Timberwolves hosting the Lakers. They are up 2-1 in that series and a 2.5-point favorite for their Game 4. 4 p.m. tip for the Magic and Celtics in Orlando. Boston leads 2-1. They are a 7.5-point favorite going there. And at 6:30 tonight, also on TNT, the Bucks host the Pacers, down 2-1 in that series. The Bucks are anyways. They are 4.5-point favorites, though, for Game 4. And in baseball, the Mariners, coming off of a 14-0 win yesterday, going for the series win at home against the Miami Marlins. Logan Evans making his Major League debut versus Max Meyer on the bump. First pitch set for 1:10 p.m. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan.
Dude.
I guess you've got a point there.
This is Sports Sunday.
Hey, Skidmark Steve! Hey, dude. You still just hanging out playing Nintendo?
Well, if you must know, I'm in my 2nd year of med school, and I'm training for the summer games. What are you two up to?
Just hanging out, playing Nintendo.
A recap of the sports week, a preview of today's games, and next week's big stories.
You think Shaq got rich playing in Orlando? Hardly. He made his fortune moving to LA. You know how much he makes now?
As much as he made playing in college?
What? No.
Now, here are Rashad Taylor and Joe Fisher.
What happened out there?
You know, it was a team effort, and I guess it took every player working together to lose this one.
Thanks, Doug. And so...
Hey, want to do an interview with me?
No.
With Sports Sunday on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Bob, in all my years of calling games, I don't think I've ever been this excited. You're excited? Feel these nipples.
Hour number 2, Sports Sunday, right here on 1080 The Fan. If you missed hour number 1, it will be posted shortly on all podcast platforms. You can go back and actually rewind in the Odyssey app and go back and listen to previous segments while we're doing the show. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do that with the morning show during the Sprague. I'll wake up because, they start at 6 a.m., which I am not awake for. And so I'll get on the Odyssey app, and you can actually look at the show, and the producer, Jason Swigart, does a phenomenal job of naming the chapters as the show is going. So say it's 7:30 in the morning, I'm getting ready, but I want to jump back and listen to what they were talking about at 6:30 because it was maybe Blazers related or draft, whatever. And I want to hear it so I can go back. While the show is live, I can go back an hour and listen to whatever segment that they had.
Well, that sounds awesome.
It's a pretty cool Odyssey app feature. I'm not going to lie. I am not just shilling for the company right now. That is actually something that is I use quite often because, they might have something that I want to hear them talk about. So
I only listen to our show.
You only just go back and podcast
Just
and listen.
No, actually, I've never listened to our show.
Hey, you got to watch film, right?
I hate the sound of my own voice.
You got to watch film. You got to. Where can I get better, right, Coach?
Yeah, that's true.
You can also watch it on YouTube later if you want to do that. But something that you might need to do and go to the 1080 The Fan website for is to go buy your foursome for the 1080 The Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms on June 24th, baby.
I'm going this year, so come say what's up to you.
Are you playing?
I don't know if I'm going to play because I'm pretty terrible, but I mean, I don't want to embarrass myself out there. Like, you guys really play. Like, I'm not trying to go out there and embarrass myself.
Oh, I'm back, baby. I was having
I know you said the last time I saw you, you said you were feeling real good about
I was a
stroke. Pause.
I was a shell of myself last year. I think it was when I fell through my roof, my ceiling, and broke my ribs.
That can do it.
That it changed my swing a little bit. Got a little too army, a little too wristy with it. And now,
Shocking.
And now my hips are oily. I'm getting through my swing. I'm an athlete out there again. And went and shot one of my best rounds recently.
Well, congratulations.
So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great going into the golf season.
That's good.
But the Fan Golf Classic, your Toyota dealers present the 11th annual. The 11th annual, man. We're on 11 years. Should have been more because we missed a couple years due to COVID.
Yeah.
But this is the 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms. Beautiful course. Can't wait to get out there and play again. Again, Tuesday, June 24th. Brought to you by Henderson and Daughter Windows and Doors and by Philbrook Law Accident and Injury Lawyers. Morning and afternoon rounds as usual. Matt's Barbecue going to be there once again.
Shout out to Matt's.
Serving up some BBQ. Phenomenal.
Get that brisket.
You know, it's a simple but just awesome item that they bring out. The pickled onions. My
favorite.
Purple
I like the pickles too.
dude,
100%.
those things are banging.
Yeah,
love them.
It's a nice little accompaniment for the barbecue.
Yes. So foursomes, they can be purchased right now. Go to 1080thefan.com. Click on the Fan Golf Classic logo for details and the link to purchase. The guys will be stationed at hole number 6 again this year, so you can get the golfing wisdom from Isaac and Suk, Dirt and Sprague, Danny, Dusty. I'm sure Schultze will be out there. I'll be out there at some point. I made the mistake last year playing in both rounds. And
you got to take a drinking break, buddy.
I will not. If I do play around this year, I want to make sure it's the afternoon round because also I got clients out there that are they've got holes, and I noticed that when I was there in the morning trying to play golf, and there were some clients that needed some help or needed something, and they were calling me. It just did not go well.
Yeah, I can imagine. Got to be on call, man.
Yes. So I'll probably be stationed out at hole number 6. I'll be Angels MV Bourbon that will be out there this year.
That's a great place to set up shop.
Yes, very much so. So we will all be hanging out, kicking it. You should come out too, even if you don't golf. Just come out and say what's up.
Yeah, you can watch me
be chilling.
shank the ball like 5 feet in front of me.
Getting an insurance policy ahead of time
might be a good idea.
Yeah, might want to call someone on that. Listen, I need a cover just in case I absolutely skull somebody with.
Yeah, we've got a
my
policy
golf
for that.
ball. Yeah, can you take care of that?
It's like I don't know what direction it's going. It may not go far, but it might. And then
I just want it to leave where it is. I don't care which way it goes, left or right. Just don't be. I don't want to swing. Like, man, where'd it go? And it's still right here on the tee.
And last year I came probably 2 inches, 2 ball rotations away from my first ever hole-in-one.
Yes, you did. I
It
was there
was
for that.
oh my god! I still got the picture. It was literally just almost there. I almost made Andy Dirt Johnson quit golf because of that.
He was pretty pissed.
He said the next day on air that if Joe Fisher would have gone a hole-in-one before I ever did, and Andy Johnson is very good at golf, that he would have quit golf. He would have just given up at that point.
Oh, don't give up, man.
Which would have been
give up.
Now I kind of regret not making that hole-in-one.
We don't quit around here, Dirt.
But I'm stoked for it. It's kind of like the fan birthday party. Like it's the event. Like that is where everybody is at. It's, what everybody waits for all year. We're less than 2 months away now.
I can't wait. Honestly, and I've never been. Every year, because I, work for a nonprofit. So when summertime came around, I was always super busy during the Fan Classic. So I could never make it out there. So I'd be listening to the show and listening to guys, oh, yeah, we're out here having fun. I'm like, ugh. And I can never go. Not this year, though.
Well,
Not this year.
I think what we're going to do also, like what we did last year, was we will not be broadcasting that day. I think we're going to be doing best of shows during the broadcast. So if you want to be a part of the Fan Golf Classic, you got to be a part of the Fan Golf Classic. You got to get out there. Again, that hole number 6, if you are golfing, that's awesome because we're all just hanging out there. I feel like that's something that is very rare for our station, for our guys on the weekdays. Like they maybe see each other once or twice a year, if that, and getting all of them together to hang out on a hole.
Man,
yeah,
it never happens.
Yeah.
And that's how, honestly, last week when we got a chance to say goodbye to Boss Man for his, retirement. This is the first time I've seen everybody in one space I want to say since maybe Hunt for the Host.
Yeah.
Like every fan personality
Wow.
in the second one, like, Patrick's, winning year. Like, so it very seldom happens. Even, for people that don't know, like, yes, we all know each other here at the Fan. We very seldom see each other. Like Dirt and Spragues, like Joe was just saying, their show starts at 6 a.m. So they don't really see Danny and Dusty when they come in. I'm a Sunday guy, so I never see anybody during the week. And so it's always good to get around my guys and trade some stories and, all that stuff. So it's always good for us to see each other. So we'd love to see you too.
Yep. We'll hold number 6, so everybody will be out there, and then we'll be mingling around the Red Shed. And yeah, it'll be a great time. It's one of my favorite days of the year. I'm like a kid on Christmas.
And it's your favorite thing too. Like it's your favorite day, and it's because it's your favorite thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything that you want there's booze, there's barbecue, there's golf.
Well, and even if I don't golf with anyone that day, it's still just fun driving around in the cart, boozing it up. It's almost like a it's like a booze golf
Bachelor
tournament.
party.
It's like a booze golf tournament with radio incorporated. There's gonna be, I think, 4, 5, 6 holes with sampling as well.
As soon as we incorporate some dancers, man, it's gonna be like the best trip.
Well, we can't do that. I've heard the infamous story of the fangirls that used to be.
I remember the fangirls.
That used to be out at the golf tournament.
I've worked here long enough to have been around for the fangirls.
I think the listeners ruin that, or did the employees ruin that?
I think the
probably a little bit of both.
The culture has changed a little bit over the years.
Well, duh.
I heard of the dunk tank was a thing one year when we had a dunk tank
With
at
the
a hole.
fangirls?
Well, I think like the story.
And that's why they got canceled.
Well, I think there was a
already
story
know
where
where
there
this
was
is
like this younger promotions gal that was like, "I'll get in the dunk tank," and all the golfers were like, "Yeah, you should totally."
Like, gosh darn it, guys, act like you've been in the end zone before, you idiots.
And then Swag was like, "I'll get in the dunk tank,"
And everyone's like, "No."
Yeah.
Swag. I also heard about the story of him. Like they were doing updates, not from the driving range, from like a dinghy on the pond. Like, so Swag had like a little boat out there.
Oh, the little paddle boats.
Yeah, he was
yes.
just like out, like he was out in a boat in one of the ponds out there, and no one told him that, like, hey, you can come back. And so he was just out on this boat for hours on end doing updates.
I'm just here.
And it was someone's like, is anybody gonna go tell him that he doesn't need to be in the boat anymore?
Just let him.
Just
let him hang out out there. It looks like he's having
floating
fun.
around.
Yeah, he's having fun. We'll tell him later.
All right, let's take a break. Let's get to our worst draft predictions that we can ever remember ourselves. Because I have one in particular, two that I can think of. I've been going through some of these, the drafts over the last like 10, 15 years from like the Wayback Machine, and looking at some guys where I'm like, oh yeah, I thought he was going to be pretty good. But there's two that I remember specifically. So we'll get into that next. You can text into the text line 503-864-6326 with some of your missed draft picks as well. We do that next here. Sports Sunday, Danny and the Fan.
Isaac Robb for Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher.
You're listening to Sports Sunday with Rashad Taylor and Joe Fisher on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
All right, NFL Draft is wrapping up, and now we reminisce on some of our worst predictions personally. One that I can think of, and it was long ago. I'm trying to think of what year this was. I got to type his name in to see what. I think this was maybe 2008, 2009, something like that. Yeah, 2009.
Way
So
back
I was
machine.
still in high school at that point. I was a junior at Sherwood High School. Go
Rocking
Bowman.
some skinny jeans and some Vans.
I think by that point I was out of my Avenged Sevenfold phase.
Okay.
And was starting
Your
to
Mac Miller
gravitate
phase?
more towards
Yeah,
exactly.
I got
Hip hop, yeah, exactly. I was going back to my roots.
Were you ever a rapper, Joe? I could see you in Sherwood saying, you know what?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I had bars.
Yeah. I'd love to hear those at some point.
I wanted to be a ghostwriter for the longest time because I thought that I had really good lines, really good bars, but I myself did not sound good on the mic.
Well, let's hear some. 5, 6, 7, 8.
No. I'm sure I could go back and find some of the lines I had.
I think it's just the rite of passage as a young man. Like, I got to, even if it's for a week.
My buddy had a whole studio in the garage.
Same here.
Blackwater Music, baby.
100, man. Really? Varsity Records over here, man. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, we were on point, man. We still actually to this day, like, I don't make music anymore, but every now and then I'll find myself rapping in my head and stuff like that. But it's been a long time. I think that's one of those things you got to do. You got to do.
But the pick that I thought was going to be surefire, and it is has a local tie to it. 2009, 4th overall pick for your Seattle Seahawks, Aaron Curry. He was a linebacker out of Wake Forest.
He was a beast.
Yeah, I believe he went 4th overall, and I was dead set. One of my biggest, and this was before I knew even more about football and how to kind of analyze players and if they'd be good. The number one reason I thought he'd be good is that guy loves football.
For sure.
That guy loves football. You can see it in his eyes. He wants to be great. He's going to be great. Aaron Curry's going to be the next best linebacker in the NFL. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. He was on Seattle for 2.5 seasons before getting traded. And I honestly have not gone back and gotten the oral history of Aaron Curry and why he was so bad. My guess is that he just was not good and was not up to playing up to his potential as the number 4 overall pick. This was before the Legion of Boom Seahawks as well. So as far as paying attention to them, this was, I think, post Matt Hasselbeck as well. I don't know if he was still on the team. I did not pay attention to the Seahawks nearly as much as I do now, obviously, with
hate
them.
The Seahawks then. I can stand them now. I can stomach them now, but I hated them when I was a kid.
But yeah, I just remember Aaron Curry ended up not being a good player at all. And that was one that I was dead set on. The second one, Josh Rosen.
Oh, man. Yeah.
That was
the guy.
He went, I think, 9th overall.
Yeah, he went before Lamar.
And that was one where I was like...
Way before Lamar.
Way before Lamar. Crazy.
He was, I think, my favorite quarterback in that draft. That
he
I was
so
like...
good at UCLA. Like, he could hit every blade of grass out there. Like, you couldn't tell me Josh Rosen wasn't going to be the guy.
Yeah, I definitely thought that... he was going to be good and
wasn't. It'd be like that
did not
sometimes.
work
Like
out.
it's hard to watch college, because there are guys that are dominant in college and then just get to the next level and they are trash for whatever reason. I was a huge Hurricane fan, especially in high school. Like right around sophomore year, maybe freshman year, like all of our team would get together and we would watch games on Saturday. And it was typically like Miami or watching Virginia Tech and watching Mike Vick play and stuff like that. But Ken Dorsey was so good at Miami, so freaking good at Miami. And I thought he's the next Peyton Manning. Like, he's the next guy that's going to come to the NFL and completely tear things apart. This man had 8 touchdowns and 18 interceptions in 4 years as an NFL player.
And is now my Cowboys passing game specialist. So let's go after getting fired from Buffalo last year. So
yeah, good pickup there.
things are looking great.
Another one of those guys, and again, if we're just even talking like more recent, there's no way you couldn't have told me Jadeveon Clowney wasn't going to be the best defensive player in football.
And he has carved out a career.
He's had a career.
He's had
right?
moments, but
I
as
thought,
far as the hype of him coming into the NFL to what you got, yeah,
I thought
he
he
has
was going
not
to be-
lived up to his potential, the hype that was around him.
I think sometimes when you have like a crazy highlight or a couple of crazy highlights, people kind of remember that more than everything else. We remember that huge hit that he had, and I can't remember who he hit and what team they were playing against, but that one huge drill that he had at that point was the reason that he was drafted. I want to say was second overall that year. He's been not pedestrian, but he's had 1 year where he was really good, but for the most part, he's been just a serviceable at best NFL player, and I'd have never thought seeing him come out and do that was crazy, man. So
I'll go a little biased here, but I really did think Marcus Mariota was going to be like him
Oh,
at the quarterback
especially
position.
coming from the Northwest, there's no way he wasn't going to tear the world apart.
Well, I know the Pac-10 at the time was producing. I mean, we've produced good quarterbacks in the NFL, at least to a backup level. Like there have been a lot of competent. Nick Foles was a Pac-10 quarterback, Super Bowl winner. A lot of competent quarterbacks from that conference in the NFL. Mariota looked like the best of all of them. Injuries, unfortunately, just kind of made him play scared. After you get hit so many times in the pocket in the NFL, it's like, okay, I'm losing my mojo.
When
and
you play for the Titans, that's what happens.
yeah,
It's almost
kinda
like
just fell
quarterback
off.
purgatory, right? Like if you go to the Titans team, just look at any of the past 4 quarterbacks drafted by the Titans. It's worked out for none of them.
true.
Ryan Tannehill, it didn't work out.
Well, he wasn't drafted. They signed
no,
him.
they
picked
signed him. Excuse me.
Yeah,
So
they picked him up later. He was a Miami sign.
Even still, like that didn't work. Mariota
Worked out for
that
a
didn't
little
work.
bit, and then
like 2-3 seasons for Tannehill.
a season and a
That
half.
was because of
2 seasons.
Vrabel, right?
That was the end of that was during Vrabel, yeah, because Vrabel, he got the job when Marcus was basically finishing out at Tennessee, I want to say. Like it was the last year or two of, because now I'm trying to remember who the Titans coach was when Mariota was there. Was it? I don't think it was Wisenhunt at one point. Ken
No,
Wisenhunt.
Wisenhunt sounds familiar. I'm trying to find out who was the offensive coordinator. Gosh dang it, keeps telling me it's McDaniels back in New England. I know. I want to find out who it was in Tennessee.
But Jake Locker, 8th overall to the Titans at one point. Remember Zach Mettenberger?
Yeah, oh my God.
Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator. Don't really know the guy.
No. Yeah, Jordan, any other picks that you were dead set on?
I can't think of anybody that I'm dead set on, but I want to go opposite and somebody I thought that was a bust. That would be one Josh Allen out of the University of Wyoming.
Oh, you didn't think that was
you were
gonna be
one
good?
of those guys.
So I was one of those guys because we saw Oregon play him. I had seen a couple of his games because, just nothing else to do late on a Saturday night. So yeah, why not watch a Wyoming v Montana game? And I just thought his footwork wasn't there. I thought, yes, the arm is there, but everybody was falling for that prototypical NFL-sized quarterback argument, and I didn't think he was going to be that good. But I was wrong.
I got one for you guys. One Tim Tebow.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
Tim Tebow was, again, you talking about a god amongst men when he was in college, and then got to the NFL and had some success his rookie year. We forget that Tim Tebow took his team to the playoffs.
I still remember
his
where I
rookie year.
was, that Steelers playoff game, and
Yeah,
them winning it.
Yeah, we won a playoff game. Like Tim Tebow, for his rookie year,
He was almost like the Jeremy Lin almost of NFL.
it was
like,
Linsanity for 1 year, and then it was kind of over from there, and he could never really recapture that magic. But Tim Tebow was somebody that I think we thought coming to the NFL he wasn't going to miss. And and it's usually, for me, it's a lot of quarterbacks that kind of we don't see them coming if they end up being good, or if we do see them coming, it's like all the pressure on the world. And then Matt Leinart, again, Heisman winner, won almost every single game in college. You couldn't tell me like Matt Leinart in a good situation wasn't going to be a great quarterback, and he just wasn't.
Well,
It happens like that.
One of the quarterbacks that you talk about, like the prototypical size, tall. I thought that Paxton Lynch maybe had a little something.
That's a good one.
Oh, Paxton.
Coming out of Memphis, and I was like, dude,
Tears
I don't
on
know.
the
He could.
sideline.
He went to the Broncos, right?
Yes, he went to the
Yes,
Broncos. Yeah, and that did not work out well there either. Just again going through some of these drafts
Chris Leak.
years past, dude. I'm looking at the 2013 NFL draft. My God, this might be one of the worst top 15 that I have seen in a while. Maybe 16, 17. I'm going to throw out some names for you. Number 2 overall on this, Luke Jokel, tackle for the Jaguars. I mean, he did not play. I mean, he had to have had a 7-8 year career. There's no way that, I mean, I don't think he was in the league that long. Yeah, 2017 was the last time he played. So he was in the league for barely 4 or 5 seasons. Dion Jordan, number 3.
Oh,
Dion Jordan, wow.
Barkevius Mingo, 6 overall.
Barkevius Mingo, what a name.
Tavon Austin, as far as
Yes.
being an absolute electric player in college and not
so
really
good.
replicating it in NFL. D. Milner, cornerback for the Jets, definitely not in the league anymore. DJ Hayden, number 12 for the Raiders, a cornerback, another bust out of that draft. EJ Manuel, 16th overall for the Bills.
That was a bad
Jarvis
one.
Jones,
Waste.
17th overall for the Steelers. That was a dude coming out of Georgia as a linebacker that people were like, oh, that's a great pickup for the Steelers. They just keep adding him over there in Pittsburgh. And he did jack squat after like 1 or 2 years
Well, you gotta
of
pick
showing
somebody, right?
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, that was one I remember when they got Jarvis Jones, the Steelers. I was just like, damn it, dude. That was something I wanted the Cowboys to pick up in the draft. And then sure enough.
I remember I thought the Anthony Thomas was going to be just super good as a returner and stuff like that in the NFL. It just never worked out like that for him.
Yeah, so I think it goes to say that sometimes we don't know what the hell we're talking about. And then there's other players where I'm also trying to think, like, what were some picks or players that they did get picked, and then they ended up becoming a great player, and I was like, I knew it. I knew they'd be great. I mean, quite frankly, as far as more recently, I've always believed in Justin Herbert. I feel like from the beginning of his freshman year at Oregon, some of the things I saw there progressed throughout the rest of his career. And then going into, I was like, dude, he has the arm. He has everything you need as a quarterback. Leader, smart. Like, I always believed he was going to be a great quarterback. Did I think he was going to be this great this soon? Like, it was literally game 1. He had to get thrown in because Tyrod Taylor got the injection in his ribs and like last minute before week 1. And then Herbert was starting, and he literally has not looked back since.
For me, it was Lamar Jackson. I remember being so pissed watching the draft. Like, how the hell does everybody keep passing on him? What's going on? And then I remember looking at him just kind of laying with his head on the table like, this is not going to happen for me, is it? Like, and I felt so bad for him. And then I remember telling my man, it's like, he's going to make everybody pay for that. He's going to make everybody pay for that. Now here we are, 2 MVPs later. The only thing missing from his mantle is a Super Bowl trophy. And so he was the one guy that I can remember. There's probably some more that I can remember, but just thinking back more recently, Lamar Jackson's the guy that I was like, I don't see how everybody passed on him.
I know one that I got, and it's and I actually got the tweet to back it up. Dak Prescott. I wanted the Cowboys to draft Dak Prescott back in 2016. I think I have a tweet somewhere that I was like, this is what I want our first 4 picks to be, or whatever, like rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I said, round 4, I want the Cowboys to get Dak Prescott. Round 4, they got Dak Prescott. And I think in that draft, I said that I wanted them, instead of Ezekiel Elliott, I did not want them to get Zeke. I wanted them to get Jalen Ramsey. So that also is one that would have worked out if the like Jalen Ramsey, all-pro.
For a couple years.
He's still good.
He's still good.
He's still good. What are we talking about?
Good, but he's not the Jalen Ramsey he was.
No, but he's still a great player.
He's still good, though.
So, yeah, those are a couple just off the top of my head that I know that I was on as far as I wanted these guys, or I think they're going to be good. Herbert, Dak, and then I guess Jalen Ramsey there.
I'll throw one on the last part of that conversation. Former Beaver running back Steven Jackson.
Oh, my gosh.
Drafted by my Rams back in like 2003 or 4. And he was like a mid-20s or late 20s pick. Not necessarily guaranteed to succeed in the NFL, but I remember both my dad and I. My dad, a huge Beavers fan, he's like, got to get Steven Jackson. He's going to work. And we had just come off of watching Marshall Faulk lead the greatest show on turf, to 2 Super Bowls, 1 win. So it was like an obvious fit for us. And we just knew, I don't know how we knew it, but we knew he was going to do so well in the NFL. And he had a successful, decade-long career.
I'll stick right there with you in Oregon State. Watching Chad Johnson and TJ Hushmanzada play there, and you're like, these are NFL receivers for sure. Like the things that they're going to do in the next level. And then both of them get to the next level. and completely dominate as receivers. That was one of those things. Oregon State for a minute. Oregon State was it. Like it wasn't U of O, at least not to me. It was Oregon State that was pumping out these great NFL players.
All right, I found the tweet. Date marked April 28th, 2016. If there's one quarterback in the draft I'd be comfortable with the Cowboys taking, it's Dak Prescott, no higher than the 4th round.
Wow.
You need to print that out and frame it, Joe.
That is
Joe Kuiper over here.
Hey.
Look at you.
That is me calling my shot and it coming to fruition. That is probably the best draft prediction I've ever had.
Well, I'm going to make a draft prediction right now. The Blazers are going to get the first overall pick in this
Please
year's
God.
draft.
Please God.
I said it right here. What's today's date? 27th of April, excuse me. The Blazers get the number 1
Tweet
pick.
it. Tweet it.
Yeah.
Let's take a break, and actually, let's get into some NBA. We've got playoffs.
Why not?
Going on right now. We actually have one series wrapped up, but plenty of other series still going. Do that next here. But first, Schultze, SportsCenter update.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a SportsCenter update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, a record-setting day in the NBA draft for the Oregon Ducks. A 10-player selection total for the program. That is the most taken in the NFL draft in program history. On Saturday, a lot of guys taken to wrap up the draft. Running back Jordan James going in the 5th round to the Niners. Jeffrey Bossa going to the Kansas City Chiefs, also in round 5. Ajani Cornelius going to the Cowboys in the 6th round. And Tez Johnson, the lightest player at the Combine, going in the final round of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. On to the NBA. You got a lot of playoff action happening. Game 4s all around the league. One Game 4 already in progress in Detroit. The Knicks leading the Pistons 26-16 with about a minute to go in the first quarter. Jalen Brunson leading the way for New York with 7 points so far. And over to baseball, the Seattle Mariners coming off of a 14-0 beatdown of the Miami Marlins yesterday, scoring 6 runs in the first inning. They'll go for the series win this afternoon. Logan Evans making his major league debut on the bump for the Mariners v. Max Meyer for Miami. First pitch for that set at 1:10 p.m. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schultze from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Curtain missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
It's back. The 11th annual Fan Golf Classic at Langdon Farms Golf Club happens Tuesday, June 24th. Presented Sunday with Rashad and Joe on Portland's sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
All right. To finish up the show, I definitely want to play that quote from Tyler Booker, new Cowboys draft pick, to show that the dude is an absolute psychopath. And I absolutely love that in an offensive lineman.
You got to be.
But NBA playoffs are in full throttle right now. We have one series that wrapped up, and that was the Oklahoma City Thunder beating the Memphis Grizzlies. They absolutely just mopped the floor with them in games 1 and 2. Ja goes down in game 3. They make the 26-27 point comeback and win game 3.
No cameras, please.
And then they win game 4 by the skin of their teeth, 117-115. But the Thunder are sitting and waiting for the winner of the Nuggets-Clippers series, which is easily the best series of the playoffs so far.
100%.
Game 2 was some of the best playoff basketball that I have ever seen, just trading blows, buckets, physical. I have just had an absolute blast watching that series. Unfortunately, I did not watch nearly as much of the game last night as I should have. But another just great game there where the Clippers almost come back from 20 points down, and Aaron Gordon gets the putback with 0.1 seconds left to give the Nuggets the dub and tie the series at 2. That series, though, so much fun, and I am very intrigued. Now, Oklahoma City, whoever they play out of this series, like, they're going to be the favorites. But you want to talk about the young guard versus the old guard in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you play if you play the Clippers and they advance, you're playing James Harden and you're playing Kawhi Leonard, the old heads out there going against the younger guys. And then to the Nuggets to an extent, right? Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and then of course Nikola Jokic. Like, these are seasoned veterans. And then
champions.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So I'm very intrigued to see how that series goes, and that's gonna be a proving ground. They should be favored. They should win that next series, but they're gonna have their work cut out for them, and it's not gonna be. It will be wild if it's like a 4-1 Thunder series win, and they just waltz through to the Western Conference Finals. That will be impressive.
No, it definitely will, and that's the great thing about the playoffs is teams that should win don't. Sometimes, and we see them go down.
I mean, the Thunder last year.
Yeah, right. You see in a 7-game series against a really talented team, especially a veteran team, things might not go the way you want them to. Like, the Grizzlies are still a very young team, right? And they were without their star, and Ja Morant is still very, immature as a leader, and so you kind of expected them to run over them, but I don't expect them to run over the Thunder, run over the Clippers, with James Harden, who played great last night. And
Kawhi Leonard is playing amazing.
Playing
right
like
now.
Kawhi again. And James Harden is looking efficient, and he's playing great defense. He had maybe 4 or 5 great defensive plays yesterday, and I was like, that's the James Harden that played in OKC. That's the guy that was the defensive stopper guarding Kobe and guarding everybody else that he needed to during that run. Was that James Harden on defense right now? Now that he's there, Norm Powell is playing great basketball.
Ivica Zubac is having an amazing year.
Oh my gosh, mind you,
probably his best.
They won that game. The Nuggets won that game yesterday, but they were up 22 at a point.
Mm-hmm.
The Clips had to come back and roar back from 22 down to take the lead at one point. And Jokic at the end of the game just did some Jokic stuff. A turnaround jumper, splash in your mouth. Take that. And then James Harden comes down, they score on the other end, tie the game up. Like that, Aaron Gordon is the most underrated, probably most undervalued player in the league. We never talk about Aaron Gordon unless we're talking about the dunk contest. That's the only time we ever really talk about Aaron Gordon. Last night's dunk was the highlight of his career. Outside of winning that championship, obviously. Finishing that dunk at that point, sealing the game for that team, was the best dunk that he's ever did.
Are they built to hold up, though, throughout the playoffs? They have no bench.
No.
Right? It's like Russell, and that's it, right?
Again, that's why,
and he's hurt, and he didn't play yesterday, so.
If the Nuggets advance, like, the Thunder are going to be favored. They should be. They're deeper. Yeah. They're longer. They're more athletic. Like, they check all the boxes of the Nuggets. Yes, the Nuggets have the best player in the world, but you're right. They're playing 2 rookies out there with minutes.
Coach Adelman has no experience.
You really only have 6 dudes you're comfortable with playing if you're the Nuggets. So
and the one thing about the Clips is they can go kind of deep on their bench if they want to.
They have 4 former Blazers on their roster.
Absolutely.
I
saw Patty Mills on the bench yesterday.
Patty hit
like,
a 3 at the end of the game in game 2. I was like, what is this?
So my wife is saying, how many former Blazers are on these teams. I was like, man, there's a lot of them on both of these teams.
Basically, everybody that would have worked out in Portland as a supporting member
said,
for a
"You're
cast
okay."
of Damian Lillard, they kind of poo-pooed them and said, nah,
you can
Neil
go
was
over
done
there.
with them.
You can go over there. But I've told you guys, I think the Clippers are as good a team as anybody in the Western Conference right now. And I do think the Clippers can not just beat the Thunder, but they can win. Like, I think they got everything that you would need your team to have. They can shoot. They can defend. You've got 2 star players that can get a bucket whenever they want to, for the most part. You've got a big man inside that can block shots, change shots, rebound, and score inside. You got a bench. You got Ben Simmons, the most underrated player on their team right now, because he just comes in. I don't need to score. I'm just going to shut down the best defensive player. I think they lost last night because Ben Simmons wasn't on the floor at the end of that game. That's just me.
The other series in the West, Lakers-Timberwolves, where the Timberwolves have a 2-1 lead now after winning in Minnesota on Friday night. Man, I don't know what to say if the Lakers lose that series. And also, I was thoroughly disappointed in my son and his buddy on Friday night. Just the absolute glazing for the Lakers and LeBron. I could not believe that. I was like, this is a Blazer household. We do not do this here, all right?
He's Jordan.
They start playing the LeBron music, the man on the Lakers or whatever, and then the other version. LeBron.
Yeah.
It is just, it's sickening.
Well,
it's
no,
sickening.
he did. I want to
love
be
it.
like Mike. Sorry,
Listen,
he actually did have
He had
that.
songs for Michael Jordan.
He did.
Like, sometimes I dream that he is me. Like, really? That was a whole thing. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Like, it was a great thing. So I'm glad that
Michael wasn't
LeBron
a douche,
is being
so
celebrated
it
towards
hit
the end of his
better.
career. He was a what?
Michael wasn't a douche.
Who wasn't
so
a douche?
Better. MJ.
Michael Jordan?
He was way better to kids. He was way better to people.
Then LeBron?
Are we talking about the same Michael Jordan?
I'm pretty sure LeBron literally opened up an entire school.
We're talking about the same Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey
God,
Jordan.
he gave money. Yeah, Mike. Yeah. Am I okay?
Man, yeah, you were.
I wasn't around.
Agree to
but,
disagree for that one.
all
man.
right. I've seen him giving autographs to kids.
but
it looked like he was more. All right.
I was going to say, if the Lakers lose that series, I mean, that's going to be one of those that you're the 3 seed. You got
Meltdown.
LeBron and Luka.
Classic meltdown.
What? There is no reason you guys should be losing that. And if AE and those Timberwolves, they end up pulling out the victory in this series, I mean, it's just another feather in the cap for Anthony Edwards in his career. I swear that dude is going to win an MVP one day. NBA championship. Joey asked me, my son, he was like, who do you want to see to win the championship? I'm like, I don't know if I really have a rooting interest in any team that's still in it. I was like, I think seeing the Timberwolves pull off a crazy run and winning it all, I was like, that'd be kind of cool. And so, like, I guess that's my team that I'm rolling with. Whether it's going to happen or not, we'll see. But I would love to see AE just put the team on his back and have a MJ-esque kind of run and propelling them to an NBA championship. It's going to be tough.
I'm kind of off Anthony Edwards.
I know you.
It's hard for me to want this young man to succeed now, just considering like the weirdness that he's been doing.
I just love his game.
He's amazing. He's amazing to watch.
I know where you're going.
He's amazing to watch. Like I said, my Clippers, because they are my Clippers, and that's what they will be referred to moving forward, is my Clippers, and that's who I'm really kind of rooting for. Who in this playoffs right now is starving for a championship more than James Harden? There's nobody right now that's playing that needs a championship to validate his career more than that man. Nobody. Maybe Westbrook. Westbrook is the only other person, again, an MVP, all the triple doubles. Everybody's going to say, who cares when he retires? He doesn't have a ring. James Harden, as a leader of this team, absolutely, positively has to win a championship.
Even looking on the East, I'm trying to look at some teams. I mean, I guess you could maybe say like the Knicks and Karl Anthony Towns, the way that he's been playing in this playoff series. I think that he catches a lot of flack because of who he is and how goofy he is.
After all that, like
the SEC, yeah, like he is, yeah, like I think that people question his game a lot, and I think that he has moments, and he's shown it this series that he shows why he was a number 1 overall pick.
Yes,
he is nice.
Yeah. Cat is nice. Cat is great.
I would say, outside of Harden, because he's been around for so long, he's been on the Houston teams, the OKC team. I mean, he's had this 76ers. That you're probably right as far as like someone that
this is his last chance, probably.
Like last go at it.
And it's for this Clippers team. This is their last go of it. Like they tried it with Paul George, it didn't work. Like this might be the last time we see this Clippers team together. So them winning is going to be super important.
and just to go over the other series. Cavs are about to wrap up against the Heat. Gary Trent Jr. putting the team on his back with the Bucks.
Look at him.
Against the Pacers. They were about to go down 3-0. Now you got Game 4
Another
of that
former Blazer?
series tonight. Another former Blazer. Yep. Knicks Pistons right now are currently in action. The Knicks were up 10 at the end of the first. They should be wrapping up that series here shortly. Right now they're up 33-21 in the second quarter. And then Celtics Magic. Celtics are going to win that series, but boy, they need Jason Tatum to get healthy. I don't know if he's playing today or not, but
Paolo Banchero is making it really tough for that team. Like, he's putting a lot of pressure, and he's beating them bodies up over there in Boston. So
Tatum's not listed on the injury report, although Jaylen Brown is listed as a game-time decision, which I'd say that's just as devastating as well. I love me
best
some
defender
Jaylen Brown.
on the perimeter. It's not named Drew Holiday.
Then they'll have Sam Hauser or Peyton Pritchard go off for like 35, or Derek White will go off for 40 randomly.
Well, they're gonna have to, because Drew Holiday is actually out today too. So Peyton Pritchard probably starting in his stead. I would assume.
Keep an eye on that.
As a great backup for a Drew Holiday or a Derek White, it's Peyton Pritchard. So shout out to Oregon's own Peyton
The
Pritchard.
sixth man of the year,
yeah,
Peyton
for winning
Pritchard.
that award. Shout out to Peyton Pritchard
With that Westland
best high school player that Oregon's ever
with
had.
that Westland accent that I've never heard before outside of him.
Have you seen him tweeting out from his beautiful high-rise apartment in Boston? Oh my God,
Sure,
he
it's
is
nice.
good for Peyton, living the life. He wakes up, he gets to see the sunrise out over that skyline. You earned it, buddy.
Man,
You certainly earned it.
Absolutely.
All right, take a break. Have some fun with audio. Next here, Sports Sunday, 1080 The Fan.
Time is ticking away.
You're listening to Sports Sunday with Rashad Taylor and Joe Fisher on the Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
All right, we got this audio, Jordan. This is Cowboys draft pick Tyler Booker, and I know I'm a Cowboys fan, so I love this even more. But I feel like his message and what gives him the joy of football, you want it in every single player on your team, but especially your offensive lineman. You want a psychopath on your line.
For sure.
Go ahead and fire it off, Jordan.
You had one of my favorite quotes of the entire draft process. You said, quote, "I make guys not love football anymore." What does it feel like to see the love of football leave someone's eyes?
it feels great, like football is a child's game. So like people wake up, be like, man, I can't wait to play this football game today. They listen to their hype music, they take all the pre-workout, they get so excited to play football until they come across Tyler Booker. And then when I'm going after you, quarter after quarter, play after play, series after series, and I start to see that love leave their eyes, like that's what makes me love the game. Like I just really love.
like He's talking to Michael Parsons, I assume. Yeah.
I want to play right now.
Yeah, he got me hyped. I ain't gonna lie.
All right.
Play after play, quarter after quarter.
Hey, man, welcome to the team. Yeah, he had me ready to go there.
Yes, sir.
Listen,
that gives me goosebumps. But again, you got a guy that hasn't been telling. When I start to see that love of the game leave their eyes, that's what makes me love the game.
It reminds me of the Key and Peele sketch with the UFC
Someone
fighters.
tweeted that out
Yes,
too.
That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Like you want that guy. Here's somebody that loves contact. Here's somebody that is ready to be in the trenches and ready to do all the dirty work. And what he's saying is, when they get tired of hitting me, that's how I know, yeah, I got him. This game is over.
I start to see that love leave their eyes.
When
That's
they
what
break
makes
that
me
huddle,
love the game.
when they break that huddle, and they know they have to line up in front of me again, or they're asking to come out to get a breath, they're asking to come out and get some water, or they're faking an injury so they can get an extra time out, I'm doing my job. That's awesome. And if that's what you do it for, you don't do it for, if you're a defensive lineman, you're not doing it to get sacks. You're not doing it for pancakes. If you're an offensive lineman, you're doing it strictly because you love the contact and that's what you were built for. So yeah, sign me up for that guy all day.
Now, it's easy to say something like that, and then you got to go across Jalen Carter or someone like
See, here's the cool part. Now, here's the bad part. Now he's got to deliver on it.
Yeah.
Now you said that, and so we expect you not to wilt when times get tough.
Yeah, I'm again, that was one of those where I'm like, all right, I'm sold. I'm like, solid pick.
That's
I'm
what you
down
say
with
in an
that.
interview. That's what you say in an interview.
Yeah. You gotta. I'm stoked to have that because again, I knew nothing about Tyler Booker from the draft process. Might have seen his name in a mock draft, whatever. Blank slate with him, and that was the first clip that I saw of him in the interview, and I was just like, if that's what we're getting, sign me up, dude.
100%.
I am with that all
Not
day
mad
long.
at that.
And I'm pretty sure it wasn't in that clip, but later in the interview, Micah Parsons said something along the lines of like, "Hey, take it easy on me on practice. Don't go at me so hard." And he responds, he's like, "We got to get better at some point, right?" So even as a rookie, talking to Micah Parsons, who is an established All-Pro on the defensive side, him saying like,
Basically,
"Hey,
nah,
do you
bro.
want to get better?"
Yeah.
And Micah like, "Well, yeah." It's like,
Step
all right,
up.
let's go.
And that's how you do it.
Let's
is
go
you
to
against
war
me every day.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
Well, I wonder what Will Campbell said. Oh, well, football's
I got
fun.
these tiny arms.
I got these tiny hands.
No,
right?
he is like, I don't know where he's from, but he's definitely got like kind of oafish offensive lineman. Like, I like football and I play football.
I'll take him
and
too.
And I hit football.
And football
I hit
fun.
players
Yeah.
and football fun.
Yeah.
Put me online. I hit.
Yeah,
We score.
I hit, we score. There it is. I'll take it.
Yeah, and honestly, like as a football fan, it's like I'm like, yeah, I love football, but the Cowboys, they got me beaten down over the last couple of years. The Ducks and their performance, it's just like, man, football is breaking my heart right now. I heard Tyler Booker say that. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's effing go.
Let's go. I love it.
All right, well, let's effing go enjoy the rest of our Sunday. And
Pretty nice outside.
yeah, it's not bad. We had some better days this week, but hey, we're getting more sunlight. That means more twilight golf. It's nice out there, and I hope everybody out there enjoys their Sunday. Rashad, thank you as always.
Appreciate you, my
Glad
guy.
to have you back. Jordan Schultz, happy to have you. Glad to have you. Thank you as always.
Yeah, love you guys. Love you all. It's going to be a hell of a week coming up because the playoffs, I think, are about to get really good.
About to
yeah,
ramp
let's
up.
go.
And that hockey. Let's do that hockey too, right?
Oh, yeah. Let's go. Let's go, Golden Knights.
All right. Thank you, everybody out there listening. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will catch you here next Sunday at 9 a.m. Peace.
Hey, it's Suk. When you think of upgrading the outside of your home, think Vulcan Design and Construction. You've heard me talk about their award-winning outdoor living